Wall Street's worst sell-off since COVID moved into high gear today. The S&P 500 losing 6% after China matched President Trump's increase in tariffs announced earlier this week. Not even a better than expected jobs report stopped the slide. The drop closed the worst week for the S&P 500 since March of 2020. The Dow plunging more than 2,200 points. The Nasdaq losing nearly 6%, more than 20% below its record set in December. The downturn is not expected to let up. Fox's Mike Emanuel reports.
Stock prices once again tumbling before a blanket 10% tariff goes into effect across dozens of countries on Saturday. Now, the Federal Reserve Chairman warns the policy will likely lead to higher inflation and slower growth.
Our obligation is to keep longer-term inflation expectations well anchored and to make certain that a one-time increase in the price level does not become an ongoing inflation problem.
But President Trump is not backing down, saying more tariffs are coming on pharmaceuticals and semiconductor chips.
And we'll be announcing that sometime in the near future, not too distant future.
That's likely to have a big impact on China, which announced a 34% tariff on the U.S. While China is retaliating, other countries are reaching out and negotiating.
We're going to get more American manufacturing jobs and rebuild this country instead of building more jobs in Vietnam or China or other places.
Meanwhile, there's a bipartisan effort to rein in President Trump's tariffs. Senate Democrats say they will push legislation later this month that could potentially undo them.
We could be going into the greatest trade war in history. We all know that the Great Depression was caused by a trade war like this.
In a sign of the evolving market, Nintendo announced plans Friday to delay pre-orders of its Switch 2 game console due to the potential impact of tariffs. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Gas prices in North Texas are on the rise.
According to AAA Texas, the average per gallon price jumped by about 20 cents in just 1 week. Fox 4's Stephen Dial joining us with more from the newsroom. Stephen.
Yeah, a lot of drivers not happy right now. Some have speculated if uncertainty about the tariffs is the reason we are seeing higher prices. AAA Texas told me that it's due to the change to the summer blend for gas. That timing of the jump is just at the same time as the tariff talk.
It's shot up. The gas prices, they start eating our money.
It wasn't hard to find people in North Texas.
Oh, wow.
To talk about this subject.
Not too much, but they done raised up in the last week or so.
Oh, hell no. Oh.
Gas prices have gone up in the Metroplex, and it's not just here, it's nationwide.
I use premium because of the car that I have, and last week it was at $3.57. Right now it's at $3.70. So if it's gonna go up anymore, the car may go.
According to AAA Texas, the average price for a gallon of regular gas in North Texas is $3.04. Driving around town Friday, we saw prices even higher than that. Last week, the average price was $2.81. With all the news about the economy reacting to President Trump's tariff threat, we asked Daniel Armbruster with AAA Texas if that is part of the reason for the gas jump.
At this point, we don't believe that tariffs are having an impact on the price of gasoline. Of course, that could change, but right now we don't see that. So the switch over to summer blend gasoline is underway. It does create a situation where gas prices on the retail level increase anywhere from 15 to 25 cents usually on average for a gallon of regular unleaded.
Armbruster told me the summer blend impact at the pump is actually being felt later than this time last year. Drivers like Tamara Stevens says she typically notices a change
After Easter most of the time, but we hadn't even got no eggs yet. So the eggs are crazy. The gas and the eggs are crazy.
We haven't even got any eggs yet. Across the street downtown, if you're getting gas, across the street from Fox 4, regular gallon is $3.14. Texas is below the national average, which the national average is at $3.26. Armbruster said prices will continue to fluctuate until the fall.